Team not reliable.
What happened?
Felipe didn't make the flyer. No picture. I'm looking at the YouTube preview and it's Carlito, me, and John.
Bro, that was probably from the 1 month that I said I'm not gonna be available this month because I'm moving.
Yes. You know we live now, right?
Yeah, we live. Let's get started, baby.
The cold open.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is CasestudyQB, and we are the Political Junkies. And if you're watching this, you're a political junkie too. So much love to you. Let me say hi to everybody. I hope you like our new look. You know, we still got some kinks to work out, but we're working on it to look beautiful for you guys, for everyone. And John, how you doing, my man?
Doing good, doing good.
All right, Lee Carter, what's up with him? Yeah, any new words? Anything new?
No, nothing new on Lee.
Okay.
I haven't been keeping up, but I'll have something for you next week.
No worries. My man, Carlito.
What up?
What up? I know what you're about to say. Go ahead and say it.
Come on, my Hawks. What can I say about my Hawks, man? First of all, working in the community, MLK Day. The NBA always has some marquee games for the Martin Luther King holiday. The Hawks, of course, they have a home game as they must have, being since MLK's hometown dude. But they're about to make me spend some money, man. The uniforms are fire. They say MLK on top. They have a lot of things embedded in them representing him, like the colors from his frat. They have the stars representing the students from the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, and a whole lot of little details that they put into the uniform to show his legacy and bring it to a new generation of sports fans.
Are you buying that uniform?
Yes.
Nice. Okay. Sounds good. My man Gabe, how you doing over there?
I'm working hard and hardly working. I want to give a shout out to minimalism. That's been my latest thing. I've been looking at the minimalist documentary and about to give up on my worldly possessions and go become a vagabond. So this capitalism stuff is for the birds.
All right. My man Felipe, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good. Gabe, I support you become your path to enlightenment. Good luck.
Hey, you could give me some stuff.
Word.
I'll take the Tesla.
I might go visit you. I might sell it. There's a small chance.
All right. There you go. I need some stock in Tesla. That's what I need. But
that is a fact. I have like super FOMO. Like I missed out on Bitcoin. I knew about Bitcoin years before everyone. I was like, oh, Bitcoin. Maybe I throw $1,000
if you beat me.
Way back before the first actually, it was after the first bubble was before everybody knew about it. Because if you put $10 in like 15 years ago, you would have like been a millionaire.
No, not even 15 years ago. I remember when I was in 9th grade in 2013, I went to buy Bitcoin. I was just like, Bitcoin seemed fun. And it was 13 cents per Bitcoin.
But that might have been. I remember it around 2008. Remember, Gabe, there was one time I was at my job and I was in the elevator. I just met you like mad randomly. Remember that?
I remember.
That year around that time, because I was into Ron Paul a lot. And his like following was into digital currency or alternative currency. That's what it was. And that's how I came across Bitcoin at that time. And I was about to do the mining of Bitcoin, but then I was thinking my parents would kill me because apparently the CPU would like use up a lot of the electricity in your house, and they always get on us for bills, like the electricity bills. So I never did it, and now of course I'm kicking myself. So
all right. So if you guys want to watch us tomorrow at Financial Junkies,
we got to get into politics at some point.
I think John's trying to give us a hint. Yeah, 8:05. Let's get it going.
Yeah. Izzy, last person. How you doing, my man?
Yeah, I'm good. Let's go.
Let's go. All right. So let's go into the first people that I want to introduce. We have let me see if I can bring up. Oh, that face looks too big. All right, there we go. Yeah. Diane Morales is running for New York City mayor, and that's our man Izzy's pick, right? Is it official, Izzy? Are you endorsing?
100%. She is my number one in my ranked choice voting. I couldn't be prouder to vote for her. She's got all the right policies. You know, she's got an issues page, which is awesome. You can actually follow it. She's very progressive. She's been fighting through nonprofits for many years. She's the lady we need in the mayoral office.
Nice. And then, so I'm just going to mention people. We got Nina Turner. We got Lee Carter. right? Who's running for Virginia governor. We got Gary Chambers.
Socialism.
Yeah, we got Gary Chambers, and Lee Carter is a Democratic socialist. And then my New Jersey Progressives, their website is down, so I'll just mention them: njprogressives.com. And Voters Choice NJ is my ranked choice voting in New Jersey. And with that said, we're gonna go to my guy Carlito. We're gonna go straight into Carlito's rapid fire.
All right, let's see if they're rapid this week or rapid. So the first one, the military has a hate group problem, but it doesn't know how bad it's gotten. So we all know how the right, we have a lot of militant groups, militias, a lot of them infiltrate the United States military, different branches. And after the events of January 6th, they really don't know how deep it's gotten, since they saw a lot of, not a lot, I don't know how many, but there were plenty of former and current servicemen going into DC to protest and riot.
Terrorism. Keep it going.
Pretty much. The next one, Charles Barkley says NBA, NFL players deserve to jump line for COVID-19 vaccine.
Talk about trying to be like, just because they make money, just because they pay the more taxes, like the people that should be getting it, that if they want to get it. We talk about teachers,
it's a lot of money for the economy, and there's also entertainment for people that are in quarantine, stuck with nothing joyful to look forward to. I think, for what it takes to vaccinate, let's say 1,000 people there, the joy that could bring in all the sports, and I think that the joy that people will get, of course they don't jump frontline workers, that's a given, but once you start getting into like the normal population, I think that should be in.
Yeah.
It looks like we're frozen on live.
So this is not a Comcast endorsement.
Yeah. Clearly,
we haven't even started yet, and there's already getting censored. it's the cabal of Democrats. They're trying to stop us.
Hey, Gabe, while we wait for Case to come back, you see Lee Carter, his Twitter handle. He's just like, ask me about socialism.
So he. Chat, is this entertaining listening to us talk garbage?
I wonder if Mia's there. Mia, are you in there today?
Oh, we lost him for good.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Goodbye.
Damn. Yeah, we need to.
Why? How come we still in the Zoom?
The stream is back.
Stream is back.
I don't see it on my end yet, but
I see the stream, but I don't see any.
I just see myself highlighted, Gabriel.
The Twitch looks
Yeah.
live, but not the.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
I hear you.
We hear you. We're back.
Oh,
We're
okay,
back.
okay. We're back, baby. All right.
The man cannot keep us down.
Militias are terrorists.
So the last story we talked about was Charles Barkley, right?
That's right.
All right.
So much for rapid fire. It's always something.
There's always something. All right. Let's go on to the next one.
Next story. 2020 was tied for the hottest year ever recorded, but the disasters fueled by climate change set it apart.
Yeah, what else is new? I mean, every year we're going to keep breaking these records. 2020 was the hottest year since 2016. I think the last 6 years were the hottest years ever on record. 3 degrees Celsius difference in the Arctic this year, which is huge.
Yeah.
And 6 degrees in many other places in the world. The last time we had a 6 degree a 6 degree difference compared to where we are today was 20,000 years ago when the Ice Age last occurred. So that just goes to show you how big 6 degrees is, and we've experienced that already in certain parts of the world. So hashtag doomed.
How do you know though? Is like climate change real? How
Yes.
do you know?
Science.
All right.
Are you sure?
100%.
Next story, assuming we still live.
Yeah.
National Rifle Association files for bankruptcy and plans to move to Texas. I mean, yeah.
Everybody's going to Texas.
You know, but this is what I do like that this is the New York Attorney General really, you know, stepping up, going for the, you know, big names, big people, and not, you know, just carrying like usually the, you know, do attorney generals kind of just stick to the, you know, just sticking on the little guy, and then the people with power just keep on rolling and nothing happens. So I like this for that aspect at least, even though they're just gonna, you know, reconstitute themselves in Texas, but they still got some liability if the people that give him money, you know, start suing them personally.
From New York, bye Felicia.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they just filed for bankruptcy just so they could be some type protected and then start again. So
yeah. But
why is everybody moving to Texas anyways?
Really cheap property prices. It's actually a pop culture movement. It's all over TikTok and Instagram, all this stuff. People post pictures of their house that cost like regular house prices, like between $300,000 and $500,000. But in Texas, that gets you like 6 bedrooms and a home theater.
Well, there's also some big names in tech and other places that are moving to Texas just for the state taxes, no state taxes.
Elon's moving over there.
Elon Musk is one. I think Joe Rogan was one.
Oracle, I think Oracle mentioned they were probably moving too.
So. But speaking of attorney general, the New York Attorney General is suing NYPD city officials over handling of protests. They're suing NYPD and the mayor for the way that they just start cracking skulls when it comes to, you know, peaceful protests. But, you know, definitely, you know, they I don't know. This is like the first, I think they said it's the first time ever an attorney general has sued a police department like this. This is humongous.
Yeah, and even still, I'm like, what took so long? This is from last summer. What took so long? But still, well, you know, keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah, man.
I think what's interesting is the inter-party fighting. You know, so we have Letitia James, who's a Democrat, going up against Bill de Blasio, who's also a Democrat. But my speculation is Letitia James was endorsed by Andrew Cuomo when she ran, and Andrew Cuomo and Bill de Blasio hates each other. So I'm sure she got the blessings from Cuomo, who's also like a big party leader. So she's probably, might be some kind of revenge, or I don't know exactly, but she's definitely got the blessings from the party establishment to go after Bill de Blasio.
Nice.
Let's hope something productive comes out of it. Go ahead, Carlito.
All right. Last story. Trump approval remains stable in new NBC poll, with Republicans a move after Capitol violence. Now, there are some polls that say that he lost some Republican people, but for the most part, there's a large contingent of TFGs, as we call them, too far gone, that are staying with him, regardless of anything he's done, including the way he handled I keep saying protest when it's really domestic terrorism, or those rioters on January 6th.
100%.
Yeah, the clown's gonna clown.
Clown's gonna clown.
Yeah. But I just can't believe. I mean, I can believe it, but it's still mind-boggling to me how his numbers are still so high for Republicans, even though they pretty much trying to start a civil war.
I don't know. Are you gonna come after me if I give my take on this?
Go ahead.
Of course we will.
No, yeah. All right, perfect. These people, like, if you like take away a few brain cells and try to look at it from their eyes, they wholeheartedly believe that the election was stolen, regardless of the riot. So if you somehow, in some world where you didn't believe in evidence, were convinced 100% that the election was stolen, that makes the pill a little bit easier to swallow when people storm the Capitol. Obviously, it's disgusting, and some people see that and say, wow, that's a little too far. but it's easier to accept that than when it's just out of nowhere. That's how far these people are convinced that they have gone.
And I want to apologize to Izzy and to the group because previously I was saying, oh man, this Trumpism, it's all about class, it's all about this and the working class. And there was a nice article that came out last week that was just saying, no, this is not a working class thing. The people that are attack the Capitol, a lot of them are well off, and it's just
They flew private jets there.
it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, I read an article, I believe it was in the Atlantic, when they were talking about how basically in the history of everything similar happened to this, there's usually a contingent of, like, it doesn't happen if it's not for the well-off class, middle class. They basically fund everything. They're the people that seem respectable. And then, usually the really high up class, they roll with the punches. They could just buy off whoever it is in power. But then a level before it, they're the people that really push whenever there's a movement to legitimize a government or take over a government, because somebody got to fund it. If the people are so poor, they really can't do much to, like when we had the Tea Party, we talk a lot about having a Tea Party on the left, but there was a lot of astroturfing, funded by like the Koch brothers and people like that. So there's always somebody that has to fund them, and also the thought leaders that kind of give them the idea and convince them to do their bidding.
100%. I think you have one more article, Carlito. Is that it?
Well, this one more if we want to talk about it.
Yeah. You know what? Let's go to trivia real quick, and then we'll come back to that. All right.
Trivia time.
Just to switch it up a little bit. All right. So let me bring up that scene. All right, Case Study QB's Political Junkies. We're going to do 4 questions today, and this is going to be the first question. We're going to sparse it out throughout the show. So the first question is, AOC, Omar, and Twitter sued for $88 million for overbearing pain and suffering, God forbid, due to Trump ban. Is this true or false?
True.
I'm gonna say true, but
AOC, who else?
It's definitely
Ilhan Omar. Ilhan Omar.
My
Twitter.
One of my favorite squad members.
All right, at 5, 4, 3, 2,
false.
1.
False.
Everybody's saying false. So the only person who said true is Carlito. And even in the
I said true. Damn.
Okay, so 2 trues. And then Bendone also said false. Anybody who's in the chat room, go ahead and put what you want to put. Somebody else says false. So the answer is true. This was a Newsweek article, and this is actually something that is going down. So, so far you got true from Carlito and Felipe are ahead. All right.
Who sued them? Who?
Yeah, it's crazy that they were being sued by. Let me see. I don't have it here exactly.
We need sources.
Oh,
yeah,
I misunderstood the question.
Oh,
no worries. All right. So I'm
just when you have some hope in America, then you see something like this.
I know, right? All right. I'm going to go over to this video that I'm going to play right quick. This is a interesting video. Tell me what you guys get from this video. Look at this. Look how nice. How nice the police officer is. So this is a person that was at the Capitol riot that the FBI is arresting in South Nashville, and look at the courtesy. Like you wouldn't even know if this was just a regular person walking down. You could hardly notice that he was getting arrested because he put the jacket over him. But I'm sure there's a lot of black and brown people that do not get the same courtesy.
Okay, Case, I can't see.
We can't see it, but I know the video you're talking about. This is the guy that was arrested by the FBI, and he was being walked. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. I see it on the stream now. Let people see it.
Yeah, go ahead, Carlito. Or anybody want to comment?
Yeah, when I saw this video, I thought they were like just chilling, laughing on the way to the Waffle House, kind of how the dude that killed the people in the church, that the white supremacist dude that killed the black people in the black church was taken to McDonald's. Or what's
Que
his name?
lindo. They gave
Burger
him a
King.
jacket. Wow.
And they're
Yeah.
laughing. They're joking together.
And they're joking together, chilling, having fun.
Tweedledee and Tweedledum.
This is another tweet I came across from Indivisible Houston, and Tillman Fertitta, he owns the Houston Rockets, and here is his $150 million super yacht that he just recently bought, right?
What?
And this is the same guy. This I know, right? And this is the same guy who laid off workers in the midst of COVID-19 last year. Right? And now he's buying a $150 million yacht. So where's that trickle down? You know, you always hear about the Ronald Reagan and the Republicans and conservatives talk about if you give all the money to the top, which this COVID-19, you see Elon Musk, you see the Amazon guy, Jeff Bezos, all these people having more wealth than anything in the world. And then where's the trickle down to the rest of us? You know,
This guy.
That $150 million, you know how many jobs that is? That's probably like 25 jobs. You're like the captain, the guy that cleans the deck, the bartender. That's
yeah.
You give me $150. You know how many 150 million? You know how much jobs we could create, man?
Yeah.
I mean, with the minimum wage we have.
Yeah, you know what the trickle down is? We get to watch live streams on the boat. Maybe we get to see pictures of it and dream. Yeah, that's our trickle down.
Yeah, but let me say something about this guy. He's the owner of the Houston Rockets, and
yeah, go ahead.
He was very concerned. He's notorious for being almost like a Taiwan. He's a brand new owner. I think he's only been the owner for like 2 years, but he's very concerned about the team making money, making cuts, doing things for the team to make money, but also a Trump supporter. And a lot of his players actually wanted to leave because of his still support for Trump, unwavering support for Trump. You know, he made a few nice little words about the things going on or about Black Lives Matter, but the players are not having him, don't believe him based on his actions. And that's one of the reasons why Russell Westbrook wanted to get traded. And, it's reportedly anyway. And then also other players like Harden didn't want to be there anyway. PJ Tucker didn't want to be there. So his players don't want to play for an owner like that. So it shows that being a supporting a terrorist is not good for business.
Mm-hmm. That's how it should be, thankfully. Yeah, definitely. Anybody else got anything to say before we move on? All right, so I'm going to play this video. I want to ask you guys if you think what he's about to say is true or not.
A little farther than Tim did, and his brand is destroyed forever. You cannot do business without any type of partners, whether it's a TV business and you have platforms, whether it's a real estate business and you loan money. It's no different than name Bin Laden. You're not going to do business with Bin Laden. When you think about the logo of Trump's business at this point, it's those people storming the Capitol. When you think about the spokesperson of that brand, it's the people in the horns and the people in the painted face and those villainous critters that we saw there. Donald Trump's business is over. There will never be a name on a Donald Trump property again. It can't exist. The powers that be, he is fully castrated at this point. He destroyed his business for himself and his family. Trumpism is no longer just a far right, even leaning towards authoritative law and order, whatever nonsense words he would associate with. It is about insurrection against our country. There is no branded.
Right. You get the point that he's trying to make, but so what you guys think?
Wishful thinking.
Yeah, I mean, if they take advantage now and they really, throw him under the bus and make sure that all of his partners are, ashamed to be a part of any of his businesses, and they really, get that in the public eye and get that pushback, okay, maybe. But I mean, if it's not hard and fast right now, and I know there's already been some, but if they don't keep the pressure on, eventually he might just bounce back. People are just going to let it go and continue to do business with him. That's assuming he's not in jail. That's assuming, we don't get what we want in that respect. But I don't know. I'm kind of with Gabe. I don't know.
I think
one thing,
his brand is definitely destroyed, though.
Yeah,
Carlito and then Felipe.
I agree somewhat. Definitely right now is in the dumps. I mean, once the PGA Tour said they're not going to go in his resorts, I mean, that was a big blow. And banks don't want to deal with him. The only thing that I will say that is he's not going to completely assuming he's not in jail, hopefully he is, whatever, anything like that. he has enough people that will support him in some other venture, like a Trump TV or something like that, where he will make money independently of those people. But there is the chance that over a few years, if no big thing happens, they'll come back to him.
No.
Go ahead,
All right,
Felipe.
one thing that you can look at and unequivocally know that's a positive from this is that this guy is just miserable. You know it. You see it in his face. He's not excited for the years to come because everything's catching up to him, and it's just all of a sudden years and years of being a mob boss and talking like a mob boss and taking advantage of people. That's all coming back, and it's just that's a nice moment of respite.
But people know this. People know this. I mean, it wasn't ever this bad. But if there is ever a chance of him making somebody money, they'll take it.
Yeah, I think that if George W. Bush, who got us the Iraq War, who under 9/11, you know, under his administration, 9/11 happened and Katrina and all this stuff. And, you know, 8 years later, 10 years later, he's out there chilling with Ellen and he's, you know, respectable. He's brought back in. He loved Donald Trump to be able to say, oh, look at that terrible guy, you know. So all Trump needs, what would help accelerate his welcome back into society is if a worse Trump comes along somehow. Like, who could even imagine somebody worse than Trump? I can't.
Yeah. Well, not even that. I mean, it might be too late for Trump, but we have examples of people that it could be beneficial for Ivanka or somebody else later. Yeah. I mean, the Confederacy, the country who had a civil war over it, and they had a period of whitewashing to the point that they were in the history books in positive light. We have monuments all over the place. So we could have a time where Ivanka or one of the other kids could be seen as a good person or whatever, and enough to make them a lot of money, and then Trump not seen as bad as he was. I mean, even more recently, Reagan, everybody think is Saint Ronnie, but I mean he had a lot of scandals. I mean, you could talk about Iran-Contra for one. I mean, supporting terrorism around the world. There was a scandal even before he got in office. They were saying that he was trying to make sure that Jimmy Carter didn't make a deal to save those terrorists before the election. He was trying to stop that. There's that wasn't proven, but that's something that I wouldn't pass any Republican nowadays, man. So you could rehabilitate somebody like Trump, given enough time.
Yeah, look, like Bush had a 30% approval, 34% approval rating when leaving office. Yeah, Trump has a 34% approval rating when leaving office. So, like you're right, like Bush can seen as this like miracle guy. I'm sure, like with time, probably people would think.
All he got to do is make a few cute paintings like Bush and.
Yeah, but do you think Trump is capable of even playing the good guy for a minute? The stories that brought W back from the brink of being like hell is pictures on Twitter and Instagram, just memes floating around that he gives Michelle Obama a candy every time he sees her. And that's what comes up in people's minds who weren't real people, like who weren't people of age or thinking people when he was president. That's how they remember him, because they remember him through the pictures that go viral, not the person who started the Iraq War. Yeah, at 22.
Yeah, when the country elects Lucifer in 2024, they're gonna be like, man, I wish for the old days of Trump.
All right, let's move on to the next thing. I'm gonna bring back the next trivia question, and I want to give a shout out to Robert Wilson, who just joined us in the chat. He said, "What's up in the chat?" All right, so Senator Joe Manchin says Senate should not consider using the 14th Amendment to remove Hawley, or so that that's Joe Hawley or Ted Cruz, over their objections to the Electoral College votes. Is that true or is it false? No, Joe Manchin.
Can you repeat it? Yeah.
Okay, Senator Joe Manchin says the Senate should not consider using the 14th Amendment.
That's false.
Yeah.
So for everybody who don't know, Joe Manchin is the conservative Democrat that he's kind of threw some water on getting the $2,000 for checks when Biden officially becomes president. So he usually sides with Republicans. So that's why this could be a tricky question.
I was going to say true, but John seems kind of confident.
True.
So
yeah, but Mia just said true in the chat, and you got to go with Mia. So I'm going.
Ah, damn, true. Then I'm going with true. True.
Mia's wrong.
Maya is back.
Yeah.
Hello, Maya.
Mia's wrong. Oh, hey. I saw that interview.
Oh, false. False. False.
All right, so everybody got their official. What's your official answer, Carlito?
I'm going with false because
Oh, he went with true with me. He went
Okay.
with true. With me.
Then
True.
John,
That's a
what's
T.
your? Everybody go through your answer real quick. John.
True.
False.
All right. So who said false?
I'm gonna go with false just because John is convincing me right now.
All right. So it is false.
Oh,
So Manchin says the Senate should consider using the 14th Amendment. So I was surprised because like usually this guy capitulates towards for Republicans and covers for them.
It's not it's
Go
not
ahead,
that surprising
Felipe.
when you think about it because his base isn't made up of Trump supporters. Trump supporters would never vote D no matter what.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
he can go anti-Republican, just not anti-conservative.
but he's all about the unity and working with the other side, blah blah blah. So that's why it's it could go.
Yeah, but
that
he felt
a
his
good
life was
question.
in danger, bro.
That was a good question.
That's
I
true.
only know it because I saw that interview.
All right. So let me bring up this next one. We're gonna jump away from trivia for a moment. We got 2 more questions left, but I want to show you this.
Of the Capitol by Trump supporters, Congress has installed new metal detectors outside the House chamber. Some Republican House members are balking at this idea. Freshman Congresswoman Lauren Boebert of Colorado has boasted openly of carrying a gun in the Capitol. She reportedly refused to turn her bag over to Capitol Police after she walked through the metal detectors, which went off. She was eventually let into the House floor to vote. It is unclear how Capitol Police resolved the matter. The Congresswoman chafed at the new restrictions, tweeting in part, metal detectors outside the House would not have stopped the violence we saw last week. It's just another political stunt by Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Another Republican congressman, Rodney Davis of Illinois, reportedly told Capitol Police officers, quote, "This is bull." I won't say the second half of what he said. And GOP Congressman Steve Scalise criticized House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, saying the changes were, quote, never discussed with the House minority. Arizona Congresswoman Debbie Lesko went further in her criticism, tweeting in part, quote, "These new provisions include searches and being wanted like criminals. We now live in Pelosi's communist America."
All right, I'm gonna stop.
on, guys.
I'm
Really?
gonna stop
Come
right
on,
there. Yeah. So what you guys think about that? They got. How dare they have to go through metal detectors?
We are a society of law and order, and they need to follow our law and order.
When you have somebody that's a member of Congress live tweeting the location of the Speaker of the House from inside in the middle of a terrorist attack, we don't trust any of you, man. Forget that. Everybody got to get checked.
No, and they caught her walking around giving people tours like a day or 2 before. Like, she's not even inconspicuous about it. She's really in your face. She's like, oh yeah, look at it.
But isn't it a federal crime to carry a gun in DC? So shouldn't she? Isn't carrying a gun in DC illegal? Like the shooting, like just because
it's another example of the rules not being applied equally, man. This is BS, honestly.
Yeah, but I like a point that Rashida Tlaib brought up, and it's later on in that video. She said, "Now they know how it feels like to be a high school student in my district." That like, I've kind of grew up. I went to Jamaica High School in Queens, and we had like surprise pop up security where every so often they would have you go through the metal detectors, and like it just was part of the culture. And now you have people who, and then I went to Jamaica High School for 3 years, and then I went to a more affluent high school in my last year, and it was totally different. I was able to leave school for lunch, and while at Jamaica High School, you had to go in the cafeteria and you couldn't leave the premises. And it just goes to show you how people grew up in different worlds. Like these people probably never had to go through metal detectors their whole lives, or not their whole life. I don't want to exaggerate, but for the most part. Like even I can remember a movie theater that I lived by. You had to go through metal detectors, and then when I moved away to a different area, they had no metal detectors. So it just shows you how people grow up in a bubble.
And I was just looking at the rules from the United States Capitol Police. Prohibited items, number 1, firearms. So I don't know what makes her think that she is special to carry firearms. I tried looking up if Congress people get an exemption. I couldn't find anything, so I would love to see her lawyer on that.
So we know the rhetoric, how crazy it's been, how fiery, how divisive from the Republicans. I don't remember the names right now, but you know, I read a story. I heard of this before, and then I read a story because of the picture everybody saw of the guy with the Confederate flag. There was some pictures behind him, and there was one of them was this senator from Massachusetts that was an abolitionist, and he made a big speech, you know, talking against slavery. A Republican Congress member beat him half to death with his cane.
Yeah, I know that
Okay?
story. Yeah.
So the way these people speak, I wouldn't put it past one of them getting upset, especially one of these QAnon people, and pulling out their gun and shooting somebody. The way they talk is just too far. You can't just trust them.
Yep. And always, you know, like I always have this conversation with my friends from like Europe and like different countries and stuff. They always be like, what is happening with America? Like, you know, and why is America like this? I'm like, well, America always been like this. It's just, you know, a matter of now it's just becoming public. But you got to see, like, these is the people that people continue to elect after and after. It's not like they ran on this. They wasn't like, they were like, oh my God, we didn't know. So when you look at America, this is what America is. This is very public. This is the people they support. And they're going to continue to, you know, places like that, like Colorado and Kansas City, Texas. Like, this is the people that they're going to continue to put into Congress. And this is the people that are making the decision for everyday America.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely getting worse, though, because they're electing more and more extremist people now.
Yeah.
John, you just got to tell people it's the season finale.
Oh Lord, I hope not. I hope not. All right, let's move on to this next video. Unfortunately, is a Debbie Downer.
On millions of people throughout this country. You don't have to wait to see what mass evictions are going to look like in this country. They are already happening, and that's exactly what the LA Sheriff's Department took us to see. They called them pre-COVID evictions, but they are evictions nevertheless, and they are shocking to see. Watch this, Katie. We're on our way to the first of what the Sheriff's Department says is going to be 6 evictions they're going to attempt today. In normal times, they're doing 30,000 evictions a year in LA County alone, but that pales in comparison to what it might ultimately be. They're saying 495,000 households, that's not people, that's households, are at risk of eviction when the COVID eviction moratoriums end. We went out with half a dozen deputies led by Sergeant Richard Lutz, a 25-year veteran. You got a second to give us the scoop?
Yeah. So apparently initially we were told that the male had COVID. He took the test 2 weeks ago. So that time has expired, so that can't stop it.
The man who was living here is going to get his pets, it looks like, from the backyard. We watched as the occupants dropped off their pets to a neighbor and loaded other possessions into a car.
Damn, that's horrible to see that type of stuff happening. Horrible.
I wonder, are there any other countries that are having that issue of mass evictions and mass people getting kicked out of their homes during a pandemic? It seems to be something that we're only hearing about here, and everywhere else they're guaranteeing paychecks, whether it's 80% or 100% of the paycheck. Yeah. They're doing recurring monthly payments. They're pretty much, you know, taking care of the taxpayers during this time, understanding that it's a freaking pandemic, and we have this issue that, again, it's not anyone's fault that there was a pandemic. So why are people being kicked out of their house? We need to have
probably some developing country or something, but you know, most of the countries that are supposed to be in our level are not doing things like this. It's ridiculous.
And that's 400.
Your fave, Gabe.
Go ahead. 495,000 households, like not even people. That's households. So that's like for every household, maybe like 4 people. You know, that's really
at least 2.
Yeah, at least 2 people. Oh my gosh.
And did I understand that correct from the video? Is that just California?
That's
LA County.
Yeah. That's not even California. That's the county.
That's just in one spot. And people are leaving. They're showing the video. People just leaving right there. And what would it be like to be that cop? Like, on one instance, you know, I don't blame them because they have to do their job. But like, they could easily, the mayor or maybe the governor could have a freeze on evictions. Like, who's going to move into that house right now? No.
Yeah, that's not it's not even a Republican state. It's like a Democratic governor, Democratic House and Senate or whatever they have. It's the trifecta, and still we can't get Medicare for all. We can't figure out how to take care of people during a pandemic. It's a mess.
It's a mess. All right, I'm gonna show this next video.
Events at all have been listed on this, that President Trump hasn't been seen publicly in 6 days, and his schedule has been mostly empty since Election Day. If you take a look, from Tuesday, November 3rd until today, more than half of the time, 46 days, no public events at all have been listed on the president's schedule. But Trump has spent 16 days golfing on one of his own courses. CNN contributor Garrett Graff is joining us now. He's the author of several books, including The Threat.
What do you guys think about that? I mean, for 8 years, Obama, you hear all the Republicans complain about Obama going golfing and taking too many vacations. And, you know, Donald Trump just took the cake on all of those records.
In 4 years.
In 4 years.
Yeah, and the thing is, you would tell his supporter and they'll be like, oh my God, no, he was one of the hardest worker president ever. He didn't take a paycheck. All he did was work. And that dude, I'm telling you, like, all he did was golf.
A family member that told me that Trump was the greatest president in the history of the country. And I was like, okay, so just tell me, like, as the greatest president, just tell me like 10 things he did that you liked. And you're like, no, I don't have to. No, I don't have to do that. And I was just like, give me 5. No. So it's one of those things that they're just repeating whatever the Facebook box tells them.
Yep.
If anybody ever thought or imagined that the Republicans were not hypocrites, there should be enough proof for anybody.
Oh yeah.
There's enough material to show that these guys just go back on their word. I mean, you could make a long montage, like an hour and a half long. Go ahead.
I mean, you just take Lindsey Graham and he'll fill up a documentary.
Exactly.
Yep.
Go ahead, John. You was gonna say something.
No, I'm saying, like, I just don't want to, like I don't understand. Like, I don't want to be party like shaming people, but I don't understand how could somebody say that I'm a Republican like with a straight face.
Yeah. My buddy, he's a conservative, been a conservative my entire friendship. He's anti-Trump, but he told me the other day, if the Democrats ever lose another election, they're just losers. Like, he said, I don't see how Republicans could ever win an election in the foreseeable future after what happened at the Capitol.
Nobody's like, hold my beer.
Mm-hmm. Hey, man, unity. We got to let them win a few.
Yeah. Let's go on to the next question, the next trivia.
There's a couple comments too, whenever, maybe after we finish.
Yeah, after this trivia, we'll go on to you know what, let's go to the comments right now real quick. Go ahead, Gabe, if you want.
So on YouTube, Robert Wilson, I want to start a segment called Dem's Gonna Dem. Okay. And this is a perfect comment for that. He says, do you think that 1400 is a step back from the 2000? And to answer that, it's just Dems being Dems. When you have the House, the Senate, and the presidency, and you promise $2,000 checks as part of the 2 seats that you won in Atlanta, do you deliver $2,000 checks, or do you find a loophole that allows, it's 1400 plus 600?
That's not fair, though. The initial bill was supposed to be passed at the same time as the first one to make the $600 check 2,000. And Joe Biden has a separate COVID.
Joe Biden specifically campaigned for both senators in Georgia, and both senators in Georgia posted on their social media, "We will be delivering $2,000 checks."
Yeah, but that's what the legislation was. The original.
Are they getting a $2,000 check, or are they going to get a 1,600, a 600, and then a 14 later?
No, but that was after the 600 was already approved. They said that they were sending $2,000 checks. After the 600 was already approved.
Listen, I'm not defending Democrats here, but the bill says it was the 600. This is what the bill says. This is like they can campaign on whatever they want. It was to increase the 600 to 2,000. So by the bill, they passed that bill, right? So they should just say, you know what, let's scratch that. But what's going to happen? You're going to have to talk about it. You're going to have to then then the Republicans going to block it. If they smart, they would say, let's get those 1,400 out of the door and let's work at another 2,000 because we know people are hurting. That's what they should have. That's what they should be doing. But now if they're going to focus on, it's a 2,000, it's a 1,400, people don't have time to figure that out. Like, give them the money and then figure a freaking another bill. Like, do a $2,000 a month. Like, we just talked about 400.
Oh, John, you think there's going to be another bill? That's so cute.
No, I'm not saying that. I said if they were smart.
$1.9 trillion bill.
If they were smart, that's what they would do. But at the end of the day, like, they're going to go back and forth. It's a 2,000, it's a 1,400. And they're going to spend 3 weeks trying to figure out which one is it while people are like still can't pay the rent, while people can't buy food. Like at this point, just get them the money. Like who cares?
And let's be real here. We're talking about not having paid rent in what 8-10 months. What is $2,000 gonna do? Let's be real here.
No, but what I'm saying is like
the only way to move forward is with
the bill that is there. The bill that is there, they could pass it tomorrow. They could pass it right away, and they don't have to go in and do all these crazy things, right? Because we know now that impeachment may take over any of this. So now they're gonna be like, well, we really promise you $2,000. So for an extra $600, they're gonna make people wait 3-4 months.
So John, what's your prediction on what's going to happen? We have Biden's about to get inaugurated on Wednesday. How fast do you think we're going to pass this? Either $1,400 or another $2,000 check. How fast?
That $1,400 should be passed on Thursday.
Like it should be passed on Thursday. Do you guys think?
If it's $1,400, it's going to be passed on Thursday. But if they want to go back 2,000, we're going to wait 3 months.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Anybody else? Okay, Felipe.
Yeah, well,
why? Is it because they need 60 votes? Why would it pass? Why would 1,400 pass but not 2,000?
Because they're gonna have to send it back to the House. The House is gonna have to do an amendment to the bill, and then the Republicans are gonna block it.
But how would they block it? In
the bill's in the
filibuster?
Senate. The bill's in the Senate. So Chuck could bring it up and they could vote on it. If they go back and introduce a new bill, they're gonna have to talk about the crap out of that bill. And
can the Senate deny unanimous consent? Can they what's the word, filibuster? What's the guarantee that even the 1,400 passes?
Well, we got what is it? Joe mentioned talking about
he's gonna block
wanting 2,000. So it's like they're gonna have to get Republicans to get on board.
But we got Josh Hawley who could replace his vote.
But the Josh Hawley's in the House, right?
No, he's senator. He's the only Republican that was going up with Bernie.
Oh yeah, sure that. Yeah. Sorry about that.
He's one of the Boogaloo senators, though.
Yeah, I know that. I don't care about that. I just want his vote. Go ahead.
I just think if they go back and forth, we're going to be here 3 months.
Yeah, for sure.
But why would it be 3 months if the Democrats have the House and the Senate and the White House? Why would it be 3 months?
Because Republicans will block it. They could still block it and talk about it. They're going to have.
Can't they block it now in the Senate or in the House?
Democrats don't support getting rid of the filibuster.
It already passed the House.
But then you're saying they're going to block it. So they passed the House. They have to go to the Senate. So then what? So can't whoever wants to block it in the Senate the same way if you send it back to the House, they can block it in the House? A filibuster is a filibuster. No,
it already passed the House. So
that's what I'm saying. But in the Senate, you can't filibuster in the Senate. Or you can filibuster in the Senate.
No, that's where the filibuster is in the Senate. But I think that if we could get Josh Hawley's vote, the only person that will block it is probably like a Joe Manchin, or if he gets a coalition of conservatives.
Listen,
so the other person
you don't want
Arizona.
the same thing happen again. Where people are saying that Pelosi didn't pass or accept the bill before, a bigger bill before. For political reasons, blah blah blah. Just get the 1,400 out of the way. Just get it.
Negotiate against themselves. I think if you have the votes for 1,400, you can get the votes for 2,000.
Okay.
If you just fight for it, because
here's the problem.
The threat of filibuster is there regardless.
Here's the problem you're going to face. The problem you're going to face is that impeachment oversees anything that comes up to the Senate. So they're going to go impeachment. They're going to talk about impeachment forever, right? So then you're going to that could drag 2 or 3 weeks. Then they're going to go in and they have to put all the nominations for Biden's cabinet, right? So then they'll be like, we have to do all these important things. And the $2,000, people are going to we need $2,000. Well, we need to talk about X, Y, and Z. Get the 1,400 and then bring another $2,000 bill. That's what they should do. That's
the best way to move forward, 100%.
All right, we'll see if it happens. All right, everybody in chat, hold us accountable to see if John is right, because I don't think they're going to do the 1,400. I don't think we're going to get another $2,000 check money. I mean,
I'm not saying they are. I say if they were smart, if Democrats were smart, which we know that they're not. If they were smart, they would say, we're going to send you the 1,400 because X, Y, and Z, and we're going to bring up another $2,000 bill. That's what they should do if they were smart.
Carlito, and then we're going to go to the next question.
Yeah, no, I keep trying to bring up somebody on Twitch was saying all he did was golf. That's disingenuous. Talking about Trump, he put it in quotes. Alt-right apparently is his name, and the Dem plantation is strong here. We didn't say all he did was golf. We're just saying that he broke the records for golf compared to Obama. As much as they complain about Obama golfing, this guy just blew him out the water. And of course, all he did wasn't golf. He also needed time to start a civil war. So, he was multitasking.
Exactly. All right, let's move on to the next trivia question. Who describes themselves as the embodiment of a pro-Israel progressive. And we got Richie Torres, we got Corey Bush, and we have Sean Maloney.
Torres.
Israel progressive.
So I got Izzy's answer.
Richie Torres, right?
I got John's answer. Is that your answer, John?
Yeah.
Okay. 5.
What was it?
I'm waiting for Gabe.
Richie Torres.
2, 1. Carlito. Who you
same.
got?
Same. Richie Torres.
Felipe?
No, same.
All right. So the answer is Richie Torres.
Oh,
you knew right away.
Yeah, Richie Torres vows to prevent the Corbynization of the progressive politics. So we always knew this guy was kind of fishy from the beginning, when a lot of the progressive organizations like Our Revolution and Justice Democrats never really endorsed this guy and endorsed his opponent, who was another progressive that didn't win, unfortunately. And so this article was in, I forgot the Jewish website, but it was a Jewish website where that was his quote. His direct quote was that he was he's a pro-Israel progressive, which basically, I mean, if you're pro-Israel, if you're for Palestine's having rights, that means you're an anti-Semite. Like, that's how it is, unfortunately, in Congress right now. If you believe that, Israel or Jews and Palestinians should have equal rights, then that means you're anti-Semite, unfortunately. Any other statements? Anybody?
I just hope that dude just become like a one-turn.
He's a ladder climber. That's what he is, man. He's gonna say whatever to get himself up there, and we know that the pro-Israel lobby is very strong in this country. But we gotta make it clear that just because you don't like the things that the Israeli government is doing, that doesn't mean you're against the Israeli people. Because there's a lot of Israeli people and Jewish people that also want to help out the Palestinians, and they know they're getting a raw deal over there.
They're anti-Semites, clearly.
Yeah. I mean, like, remember what Ilhan Omar said? It was all about the Benjamins, and she was referring to AIPAC, the lobby, the Israel lobby. She wasn't talking about the Jewish people. She was talking about the lobby, AIPAC. And she was
referring to the song too, man.
And she's referring to the song "Having Fun," and she was painted as
Benjamin is a common Jewish name. She was clearly being hateful and clearly not referencing the popular Bad Boy song.
Listen, we need to have like quotations, like emojis or something appear on top of Gabe whenever he says something like that.
Oh yeah, because anybody hears me, they're gonna be like, "This guy Gabe is he's a QAnon." Yeah, everything I say, I'm working on my delivery. Delivery.
Hey, some people might be like, this is the only guy that makes sense in this whole show.
They're gonna take all these clips. There's gonna be his attack ad when he goes to run for office.
All right, so before we get in trouble, let me move on to this next clip.
Is going on with vaccinations in this country? I mean, I think there's a lot of confusion out there. I mean, the Trump administration failed to meet its own repeatedly reduced targets for vaccinations. But then you hear someone like a Dr. Fauci say, listen, it's not as bad as it sounds right now. Where does it really stand, and are things ramping up?
I think trying to gauge if it's as bad as it sounds or not, you really have to talk to individuals. I mean, I certainly know people who got a vaccine relatively easy, friends of mine who are doctors or nurses. But I know people who are trying to get shots for their parents or grandparents. They are on the phone, they are online, they are trying their hardest. These are smart, resourceful people, and they can't do it. It is chaotic. In other countries where I talk to folks I know in other countries, you pick up the phone, you call a central number, you make an appointment. It is not that complicated. Here, it's really, it's every guy and gal for themselves, and that is really difficult. And so let me show you what those numbers, what that amounts to.
Yeah.
So far in the United States, about 31 million doses have been distributed. In other words, have been put around the United States in various locations, but only 12 million have been administered. So 31 million distributed, but only 12 million have gone into arms. Poppy?
What a failure.
USA.
How are we supposed to make sure? Obviously, they're going to take their time. How else are we going to make sure that they make their money? If they don't take their time, if they just give it away for free, then people will be healthy and they won't get their money back.
They already paid for.
Yeah.
I mean, it was said.
I don't know how you guys feel, but I have no clue when I'm going to even have access to this thing. I have no idea. And then on top of that, That's just dose number 1. Remember, there's 2 doses here.
Yeah.
The first dose and the second dose coincide. So once you get the first one, you're automatically scheduled for the second one.
We should take a bet on how many people is supposed to get the second dose and don't get it. Like,
right, because they've talked about delaying it so that they could have more people access to the first dose, which I don't know, what the plan is for that or not. But I'm just saying that it's all completely up in the air on when we're even going to have access to the thing as normal people. And then who even knows about the second? It's a disaster.
And not only that, talk about the other ones. Like I think I was reading what was it, the South African virus that's right behind it, that the dose doesn't cover against it. So
we're already, the South African variant, the UK variant, those are already starting to spread in the US for sure. It's going to continue evolving because that's what viruses do. #science. So if we're lucky, this is going to be something that lasts a year of immunity, and then we'll see what happens next year. But we still have to get it. We still have to get it out to people. We're nowhere close.
Let's give it to athletes because they pay higher taxes.
So this is the crazy thing, like what Izzy said. The second dose, apparently they decided to just get as many vaccines out there as much as possible. So they're not even saving the duplicate, for that second dose. They're just getting as many people vaccinated. And then there's supposed to be a stockpile for the states to have vaccines. And now they're finding out that doesn't exist. So it's like Joe Biden is coming in, like starting from scratch. And to our friend in the chat room, alt-right, apparently, I wonder what his answer for Trump totally botching this federal response.
It's Biden's fault, clearly. It's Biden and the Democrats that did not do this.
Yeah, he should have reached in earlier, right after he won the election. What's he been doing for 2 months? I'll call him.
Yeah, what virus is going to be the response?
Oh my God.
Let me show this last question, and this is the last one before we're about to head out of here shortly. And I already showed the answer, but I know we talked about it. We talked about it earlier before the show started, but here we go. AOC has a video game called Super AOC World. True or false? And Felipe, you can't answer.
Everyone in the chat.
True.
So this is for the people in the chat.
That doesn't even sound right. It gotta be false.
Super AC. All right, we're gonna go through with it real quick. So the answer is false. So there is a game called Super Bernie World, and it's kind of like a play off of It's a play off of Super Mario Brothers. See if I could.
Yeah, the AOC is too long to fit. Super Mario World, Super Bernie World, Super AOC World is too long.
Yeah.
Is the guy
does in the game, like the character always lose? Because that's what we're doing.
That's terrible, John. All right, any last words before we head out of here?
Bernie Sanders, the worst politician in history of politics.
That is a complete lie, but he is not a very good winner, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I'm still want to laugh at this alt-right apparently on Twitch because he said the damn plantation is strong here. Well, we spend 85% of the time talking crap about Democrats.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. We're the plantation. So John, I want to correct you. It's not Bernie that is the worst politician of all time. It is Elizabeth Warren. we have already established this on this show. She's the one that sells her soul and then doesn't even get like anything.
Where is she?
Don't even give her like Postmaster General.
I know, right? I haven't heard anything about her.
Have anybody heard from her?
Felipe, what do you
know? Wellness check.
Felipe, do you think Liz still waiting for the BP or the Treasury?
Yeah, she's still waiting by the phone. She's not letting anyone talk to her.
Okay.
So wait, right before we end the show, that's a good question. So the only person who got something was Pete Buttigieg, who's in the cabinet, but we got Amy Klobuchar, who dropped out. We have Elizabeth Warren, who stayed in just long enough to keep Bernie from having enough consolidating the progressive vote. Pete, we said him. Who else? I think that was
Beto.
Klobuchar was gonna be VP. That was a fact. But then when all the protests happened, they had to pivot to a black woman. It was gonna be Klobuchar.
Yeah,
but they had to call it audible.
I thought that she would at least be nominated for Attorney General though, or something, right? I thought she would have gotten Attorney General.
No, not after. No, Klobuchar can't be Attorney General after.
Oh yeah.
All the crap she got in Minnesota about
with George Floyd,
violence and all that.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah. She was AG over there.
You're losing it there, buddy.
That's not happening. All right. Well,
I want to say one last comment. I want to say that Joe Biden is about to get inaugurated, and I want to just comment that they're going to waste all the time on impeachment. They're not going to get anything done. They're going to blame it on impeachment, and they're going to blame it on everything. And it's going to be the first months of the Biden presidency are going to be wasted. Prove me wrong, Joe.
Okay.
Prove me wrong. I want to be wrong.
I got a question. Impeachment then?
OT. I got a question though. Should they go on for impeachment now, or just let Biden do his thing so they could get
they're taking too long. They're taking too long. They should have brought impeachment. Even though Mitch McConnell,
January 7th should have been.
That was because Mitch. But
Mitch didn't want to bring the Senate in. No. For day one, you got to get rid of Trump.
Yeah, no, deadass. No, and Mitch hasn't said he's opposed to impeachment papers.
Well, I mean, he's going to be gone. Day. I'm talking about it's not going to happen in time before the inauguration. Should Schumer bring it up? Should they actually do it?
Yes.
I think it's their congressional responsibility to do it.
I know, but Gay was talking about not saying that you were support or against or whatever, but there's
they're going to use
people saying that if you go towards
Mm-hmm.
impeachment, he's going to waste political capital on that versus putting his agenda in place.
How much time can it realistically take to show evidence when the evidence is just all over Twitter?
I don't know. They have mandatory time for debate or whatever. I mean, they can make it just 24 hours.
The House sets the rules of impeachment.
No, remember? Senate. No, talk about the Senate.
Yeah,
the Senate has mandatory time.
They're the witnesses too. Like I keep hearing in the news, like, oh, they need to bring a witness and they need to bring evidence. They are the witnesses. They were in the Capitol.
They were cowering.
Cruz is gonna drag that, and the Republicans gonna be like, let's drag as much as we can, even if we want to vote yes.
Let's talk strategy for a minute. Hold on. Let's talk strategy for 1 second.
Trump's balls.
Hold on 1 second, Felipe. Do you think Mitch McConnell wants to impeach Trump because it will allow to take away him from getting who cares about him getting Secret Service for the rest of his life, but more importantly, he will never be able to run again. You think even Mitch McConnell wants that?
Yeah, but
I think deep down in his heart, he really wants. Yeah.
Hold on, Carlito first, and then Felipe. Go ahead, Carlito.
I think okay.
Yeah, Mitch also wants to block Biden, so I'm sure he will try to drag it out. That's why he didn't try to get rid of him immediately and bring the Senate back. So come the 19th, might not even do it the 19th, but he wants to stop Biden regardless. He wants Trump out, but also block Biden as much as possible. Mm-hmm. But I think Schumer could set the rules and not necessarily take 2 weeks or whatever. They could make it so I don't remember the amount, but there's a certain amount of hours that mandatory debate. But Chuck Schumer could split it up however he wants. He could make it so go 48 hours straight. Let Republicans talk at between 12 midnight and 6 a.m. and they could go to sleep or something.
Yeah, they could just do it. Go from day 1 to 5 days straight. Just do the hours, and they could be talking to themselves at 1 o'clock in the morning.
I think deep down, I think deep down in Mitch's cold, dead heart, there's nothing he wants more than to just get Trump out of his life as soon as possible. But he knows he's tied up a little bit, so it's a coin flip in my opinion.
Is he?
I don't know if I believe that, but I was just gonna say, at the end of the day, Biden has plenty he can do through executive order. Go ahead and do all your executive orders while the impeachment is going on. You can still get things done, have impeachment, and then get back to business afterwards. You have to do it now. I agree with John. You have to do it now.
All right, the last question.
I want to be proven wrong. The
last question. We know Biden is a moderate, and even though I've heard what his first agenda is going to be, like his day 1 executive orders, and I like the fact that he's going to be putting a moratorium on student loan payback, and he has a lot of good stuff with immigration and getting back into the climate, Yes, thank you. And I didn't hear anything about Cuba. I hope he opens up in normalizations of trade with Cuba again. But like going back to the Obama years, I like that. But do you think we can actually push him? So Bernie Sanders is going to be the chair of the budget committee, and he wants to push Biden to have like maybe a Medicare for all during COVID, or probably the $2,000 checks. Do you think that the progressives, and you know we've had forced to vote from the grassroots, but from the level of the grassroots to the level of the squad and up, do you think we can get anything from Biden? Can we push him left in any way?
Oh, absolutely. A little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you've already gotten a little bit from him. He wasn't pro $15 minimum wage until like 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
It was $12 and then he was $10. Like he's been going up progressively like throughout the election cycle. I think you can definitely squeeze a little bit of life out of it. Maybe not a Medicare for all type, but you might get something.
You can't count on Biden doing anything by himself, but he could definitely be pushed somewhat. So I agree. We could get something out of him.
Yeah, the only thing we're gonna get something, the only reason we're gonna get something is because Chuck doesn't want AOC to primary him. So Chuck is gonna push something through the Senate that's gonna be progressive enough to give us a win.
I think no. I think the Democrats have shown that they're going to do what they do. And if they didn't give us anything in the election, they're definitely not going to give us anything once they're in. It would have to be, you really have to drag them there, like drag them through the mud. And as Carlito or John alluded to, primary them. And that's going to be maybe when we start seeing some stuff, when you start primarying. That's other than that, before then, we're not going to see anything prior to 2022 early to mid-year.
No way.
They're gonna get primary regardless. Sure. You have to get primary regardless, but you know, you got me agreeing with Felipe over here. What's wrong with you?
I'm talking sense today. What do you mean?
Yeah, definitely.
You've been watching too much NBA.
Listen, Biden has definitely inched left a little bit. All right, he definitely has. You know,
he got a few inches to go.
I don't believe it until I see
he got miles to go.
Yeah, we got a 15-minute wage already. We're getting it now.
Just to say that,
I don't know if he got a few miles left in his life, bro.
Go ahead, Carlito.
I'm saying just to say that we get nothing from him, that's not true.
All right, so this is gonna be the test, right? I think he said that he wants to forgive $10,000 of college debt, and AOC. I believe Chuck Schumer, who's of course fearing a challenge from AOC, and I believe Elizabeth Warren is going to try to push $50,000 at least, right? So that's going to be the first test. Go ahead, Carly.
Just getting him to 10,000. That's already a step.
Yeah,
we want more. We want more, but that already proves that he's moved a little bit.
Yeah,
I don't know. All I'm saying, they better not come in and be like, you're gonna get 10,000 if you only make 75,000. I'm gonna be pissed about that.
Adrian, if I may, in honor of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, I would like to end this with a quote. The quote about the white moderates, and that $10,000 is the white moderate. So the white moderate, here it is. I've come to hold on.
All right.
I have been gravely disappointed with the white moderate. I've almost reached the regrettable conclusion that the Negro's great stumbling block in his stride toward freedom is not the white citizens counselor or the Ku Klux Klaner or the Trumper, but the white moderate who is more devoted to order and to $10,000 cancellation and $15 minimum wage when we need much more, who prefers a negative peace, which is the absence of tension, to a positive peace. So that's what we're going to get. We're going to get the white moderate with Joe Biden. We're going to get not enough. When we have a fire raging out in this country, we're going to get some drops thrown at us like this.
All right, would you rather a flamethrower, bro?
Yeah. I would rather.
Listen, you said nothing already. You backtracking saying we're getting drops. So you backtrack.
I'm very open. You know me. When I'm wrong, in this show already, I said I was wrong about something. So whenever I'm wrong, I'm happy to be wrong about these things. I want the Dems to
you must
crush
be happy all the time.
I want them to crush it. I want them to dominate.
There it is. That's PJ Overtime. And thank you guys for joining us. Let me give the last shout outs in the chat. Robert Wilson, we got Seaman Doe, and I wonder if Mia's still there. Is Mia out there? Say what's up to us as we're about to leave.
Yo, he said the name right.
He said the name right.
He said the name right.
Shout out.
So
the love always.
Only took him like 3 months.
Yeah. All right, everybody.
Thank you. All right, apparently for tuning in. Maybe you learn a little something.
We should change the name to the Democratic Plantation. That'll be.
That's the new name of the show. Not Political Junkies. It's the Democratic Plantation. Nah, let me stop. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. And you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, rocking with the Political Junkies. If you're here with us, the Political Junkies, that means you are a Political Junkies as well, and you are one of us. All right. God bless. Until next time, next Monday, 8 o'clock, same time, same hour.